friends, welcome back to my channel. It is time for another Fall Soup Friday. Today, I'm doing a soup that I've never done before. Traditionally, I've always liked more tomato-based soups, and I haven't really ever thought that I would enjoy like a white soup. But I made a white chicken chili a while back and I loved it. So I saw some videos and some recipes of a chicken tortellini soup. So I thought, all right, let's give this a try. So I've never made it before. I've never made anything with tortellini before. So I'm gonna try the creamy chicken tortellini soup, and at the end of the video, I'm gonna show you a little clip that you wanna stay for because it kind of gives you an indication of how we like the soup. So let's go ahead and let me show you how I put it all together. This is all the ingredients that goes into this creamy chicken tortellini soup. You have the tortellini, then you have carrots, celery, spinach, onion, of course the chicken. Calls for a chicken broth, but I don't care for chicken broth. So I'm using vegetable broth, all-purpose flour, heavy whipping cream, and then the seasonings are salt, pepper, calls for minced garlic, but I'm just gonna use this granulated garlic, red pepper flakes, and Italian seasoning. I have my chicken boiling in some water to cook it because the recipe calls for cooked chicken. But while that's cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and chop up my veggies, and I'm gonna use this handy chopper. And just so you know, if you have not seen it yet, I did a favorite kitchen gadgets video, and I will put a link to that video in the description box below. But this is one of my kitchen favorites. So I'm gonna use this with these two different blades to chop my veggies. And while I'm at it, so that I don't let all the celery go to waste, Thanksgiving's coming up, so I'm gonna just make sure I chop all of this up and put what I don't use today aside for my cornbread dressing for Thanksgiving. So that's what I'm gonna do now. To get the soup started, you are going to add 2 tablespoons of butter to a soup pot and let it melt. Once the butter has melted, you're going to add a cup of the celery, half a cup of the onion, and 1 cup of the carrots. And you're going to saute that in the butter until the onion and the celery has kind of become translucent and is soft. This is also where you add your minced garlic, but since I don't have any minced garlic, I am using the granulated garlic. I'm just gonna wait to add that until everything has softened. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and add some garlic powder. I wanna make sure it's fragrant and flavorful, so. Anyway, so at this point, now that my onions and celery are pretty tender and they're beginning to kind of look the same, I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of flour, and you're gonna stir this for about 2 to 3 minutes until you kind of don't have that raw flour smell. But you want to make sure that you continue to stir it because you don't want it to burn. This is going to kind of make like a roux or a thickening agent to the soup. So cook this for about 2 or 3 minutes. All right, now that is ready. So you're going to add 4 cups of the chicken stock, which, like I said, I am using vegetable broth because I don't like chicken broth. And I pour it onto the spoon and it helps prevent too much splattering. So I'm going to add all of this, and then we'll add the seasonings. I've got all that broth blended in pretty well. So now at this point, you're gonna add the Italian seasoning, and you add 2 teaspoons. I'm approximating. We'll call that a teaspoon. 2 teaspoons of that. I'm just gonna say salt and pepper to taste. Since I have the broth in there, it's got a good bit of sodium already. So I'm not gonna add any salt, any additional salt. Then it calls for a ½ teaspoon of red pepper flakes, but we like spice. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a whole teaspoon. You're gonna mix that up real good and let that cook and simmer for about 10 minutes. You're gonna let this cook for, I have mine on like a medium heat, and it says to increase the heat and then bring it to a boil, but my carrots, I wanna make sure my carrots get done. So I'm gonna leave it on a medium heat and just let it kind of work up to a boil. And then once it comes to a boil, then we will add the chicken and some of the other stuff. All right, now this is the part where what I'm doing is a little bit different from the recipe, which I will link below. So the recipe calls for dried tortellini, but I have this, it's like a 5 cheese tortellini that I got from Sam's. So it's already been cooked, I guess. So right now is when they say to add your dried tortellini and let it cook for about 10 minutes. But since mine's already cooked, I'm gonna skip that step. I'm gonna go ahead and add my ½ cup of heavy cream. Then, let's see. And then I'm gonna add 2 cups of, it says diced, but I shredded mine because I don't like diced chicken. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the chicken. Mix that up real good. Next, I'm gonna add a cup, which it says a tightly packed cup, but this is as good as it's gonna get for me, because we don't usually eat spinach in our food, like except salad. Anyway, add this. Then you're gonna add a 1/3 cup of shredded Parmesan, which I don't have any shredded Parmesan. All I have is this grated, so that'll have to do. And I'm gonna go ahead and add that approximately. My hands are clean, by the way, so let that stir. I'm gonna let it cook for about 5 minutes. Since my pasta is already cooked, it just kind of needs to heat for about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna let this cook on kind of a simmer for about 5 minutes. The soup's been cooking for about 5 or so minutes, but I turned it down just a little bit. You can see it's still kind of bubbling a little bit, but I'm gonna let it cook a little longer just because I want the carrots to cook a little longer, and I want the spinach leaves to, I guess, wilt a little more. So I'm gonna let it cook for about 5 more minutes before I add the tortellini. All right. Now it called for, I believe it was 1 cup. Let me check real quick. It says 10 ounces of dried cheese tortellini. So I don't know if that's what this is. Who knows? I've never made this before, so give me a break. But anyway, I'm just gonna add whatever, I don't know, 10 ounces is. What is this? Let me see. This doesn't say how many ounces, but it does say to cook for 4 minutes on the package. So I may add a little more, but anyway, I'm gonna let this cook for the 4 minutes that the package calls for, and then it'll be time to eat. I'll tell you what, it really does smell really good. So hopefully it will taste just as good as it smells. All right, this is so funny because I was filming, once I put the soup in the bowl, I was filming to use a clip as kind of like an intro. Well, when I was playing it back just to kind of review it, I heard my husband's reaction in the video. So instead of taking the sound out and using it as a clip, like an intro clip, I decided I would use it as kind of like the review. So make sure that you listen carefully for his reaction.
I feel like I'm your tester, but it's already cooked. Mmm, mmm, mmm.
That was just the funniest thing to me. He actually wanted to take it for lunch the next day, and he texted me and said, it's just as good today as it was yesterday. So there's your review. It really was very good, and I will definitely be making it again. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for coming by. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more soup ideas. But if you're new, I do crock pot meals, meal ideas, I do shopping hauls, home decor, home organization. So if you like that kind of thing, I would love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel. Please leave your comments below. Tell me hey if you're new, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.